Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we'll discuss about different types of inheritance. So till now we have discussed why we need inheritance, then um, the relevance of inheritance, then we have seen how to inherit the classes, the syntax of it. Then we also discuss about access specifiers and the visibility mode. So when we are inheriting the base class, we can inherit in three different visibility modes: public, protected and private. So what is the impact of that? So that also we have discussed this specifically, this diagram we have discussed. And when we inherit in public mode, visibility mode, so protected members of base class will remain protected in the derived class, public will remain public. When it is private inheritance, then all protected and public members will become private member of the derived class. And if it is protected mode of inheritance, so in that case, all the protected and public variables will become protected members of the derived class. Okay. And about private members of the base class, we have seen that private members we cannot access through inheritance. Then we also discuss types of inheritance and this diagram. So single, multi-level. This is multiple, hierarchical, hybrid, and multipath inheritance. So one by one, we'll discuss all these types in detail. So this is the example of single inheritance. So in single inheritance, what we do is just one base class and one derived class would be there. So example is like here person class and student class is the derived class. So from base class we are inheriting name and address and the related methods into this derived class. Okay, it has got roll number and course as the special attributes of student class. So this example is of single inheritance. The This code also I have written to explain or to understand this concept. So this class account is the base class which contains this salary member data in public scope. So now this account class we are inheriting in different roles in that particular organization. So for a class programmer, so for a programmer we are inheriting account class in public visibility mode. So when it is public visibility mode, the public members will remain here as public members in the derived class. So salary and bonus, these two will become the member of the programmer class now. And both of these variable will be there in the public scope. Okay. So in main, we are creating object of the programmer class P1. And now I'm trying to access here. We are displaying the salary and bonus, both the attributes, and how I'm accessing these two attributes using the object of the derived class. So P1 is the object of derived class. So P1 dot salary. So salary is there in the base class, which is available through this inheritance. It has become the part of the derived class. So salary is also available in the public scope because the visibility mode is public. So I can access salary as well as bonus over here because both of these attributes are there in the public scope. So this is the simple example of single inheritance. The next one is class shape. So here in protected scope, I have taken width and height, and in public scope, set width and set height functions are there. Okay, we are passing some input argument, and that input argument W we are assigning to width, and this is to assign that value to height attribute. Okay, so we have two attributes here and two methods to set the values for those two attributes. Now in the rectangle class, I'm inheriting shape in public visibility mode. So now what will happen with this inheritance, the protected member like width and height will be inherited here, will become the part of the rectangle class. In which scope? In protected only. And public members, these two function will be inherited in the derived class. In which scope? In public. Okay, try to recollect the diagram which we have discussed related to visibility mode. When it is public inheritance, okay, protected members will remain protected in the derived class, and public members will remain public in the derived class. Okay, so all these four things, two attributes and two functions, will be inherited here in the rectangle in protected and public scope. Okay, and it has got its own method also, that is get area, which is there in the public scope. So all these five members will become member of this rectangle. These two attribute and these three functionality will become member of this rectangle. Now another example is like this class A is there. I am inheriting class A in private mode here. This is third example. We have discussed about public, protected, and now this is private visibility mode. So in class B, I'm inheriting this class A in private visibility mode. So what will happen? These two, A and B, here I haven't mentioned any scope. So by default for class, what is the default scope? It is private. Okay. So private members I cannot inherit anyhow. Public members, yes, I can inherit. So this public member I'm inheriting here in B, but in which scope I'm inheriting? Private scope. So this multiplication function will become member function of class B, and what will be the scope? It will be private scope. Okay, so private scope means what? Only this display function can access this function, multiplication function. You cannot access this multiplication function from main class using this object of B. So now with this private visibility mode, what will happen? The public members of this base class will become private member of the derived class, है ना? मतलब ये multiplication जो होगा वो कहाँ पे जाएगा? Private scope में जाएगा class B के. So now in main, I'm creating the object of class B, that is derived class, and using this object, I'm calling this function display, which is there in the public section. And now as using B dot, using this B object, I cannot call multiplication because this multiplication function is there in the private scope of class B. तो उसे हम कॉल नहीं कर सकते यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली बिकॉज it has become the private member. So what I've done here, I'm calling display function from the derived class, and inside this display function I'm calling multiplication function, which is a private member of this class B. So multiplication function I can call inside display. So here I am calling multiplication function, which will calculate A into B, multiplication of this A and B, and return the result. Okay, so this result will be returned, will get stored in this, and we are displaying the result. So this private function, multiplication function, we are accessing here. Okay, and through this multiplication function we are calculating the multiplication of A and B. So this is how we are accessing the things. Like see here, if you observe, this is I'm creating object of only derived class, right? And from derived class object I'm accessing only one function, and this one function is in turn calling this multiplication function. So control will come here, and in this multiplication function I'm calculating multiplication of A and B, which are the private members of the same class. Okay, so access is possible. So I'm calculating and returning the result back to this result, and it gets displayed. So again control will come back to main. So this is how it gets executed. So these are the examples of simple inheritance or single level inheritance. Then next is multi-level inheritance, wherein we have multiple levels of inheritance. Here, say for example, 3 levels of inheritance are there. Shape is the base class. This is the first level, you can say, and this is the second level. Okay, base class, first level, and second level of inheritance. So members of this shape class will be inherited in the rectangle, and together, like shape members are inherited here in rectangle. So rectangle is having its own member as well as members of shape, and all these things will be inherited in square. So square will be having uh, members of shape as well as rectangle together, and its own members also. So this is multi-level inheritance. This is the example. Class, my class, then public, my function. So this is the base class, which is having one function, my function, wherein I'm displaying parent class. Then this is the first child, you can say first level of inheritance, wherein class child I'm inheriting my class in public mode. Okay, so public mode hai matlab this public member will become public member of this child class. Okay, so my function will become public member of this class child. Okay, and then grandchild, next class is grandchild, wherein I'm inheriting this child class again in public. You can inherit in any of the mode. Here I have kept it public and here also public, but any visibility mode can be used. So with this what will happen, this first this my function which is there in the public scope has become member of this child class. Okay, and it is available in which scope, in public scope. So again, this class I'm inheriting here. That means what? This my function is available here in grandchild also. Okay, through this level of next level of inheritance, this is available. This my function is available to the next level also. So this my function is now available in grandchild also. Like here, as I told you, this all these members will become part of this rectangle. Okay, and in turn this shape and rectangle, all the members of shape and rectangle will be inherited in square. Okay, so same thing here, my function is first inherited by child and then same function will be inherited by grandchild, because here I'm inheriting child class. Okay, now in main I'm creating object of the grandchild only. So grandchild object is created and I'm calling my function. Okay, so this is how multi-level inheritance is written or executed. Next example is hierarchical inheritance. So in hierarchical inheritance, one parent class is there, one base class is there, and multiple derived classes are possible. Like furniture, if you take example of furniture, the furniture is one common base class, and chair, table, bed, all these are types of furniture, right? So this type of inheritance is called as hierarchical, wherein one base class is there and multiple derived classes are there. So this is the example, class animal, which is one base class, common base class. So here some information we want to display, for example. Okay, so information displaying that function is available in the base class. Now this is the derived class, dog, wherein we are inheriting this animal class in public scope. So this information function is available here also in this dog class. Along with that, it has got its own function also. Like bark is the specialized function for dogs. So along with this information, this is the, so information is available through inheritance in this dog class, and bark is already available here as a member function. So two member functions would be there in dog. One is available through inheritance, that is information, and another is available as its own function. Okay, then similarly class cat is there, wherein again I'm inheriting the same base class, animal class. So this one base class is having two children here, dog and cat. So here it is having its own specific function also. Okay, and one function, this information function, is available through inheritance. So both of these derived classes will be having two functions each. One is their specialized function and one is available through inheritance. Okay, so this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. So when we are creating the object in main class, for this example, we'll create one object of the dog class and one object of the cat class. Okay, so one object of the dog class wherein we can access information function as well as bark, because information is available through inheritance and bark is its own function. Similarly, cat object can access this information function which is available through inheritance and its own function also. Okay, so this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. The next example is of hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance is any combination, like whatever three basic types of inheritance we have discussed. So any combination you can say is a hybrid inheritance. So this is if you see vehicle, car, and Ferrari. This is what example of multi-level inheritance, and multiple levels are created. And these two parent class and one common child class is what example of multiple inheritance. This is multi-level, wherein multiple levels are there, and multiple matlab multiple parent class. Okay, so this is the example of multiple inheritance. So any combination when we are doing of these basic types of inheritance, so if we are making any combination, then it becomes a hybrid inheritance. Okay, like this example, class vehicle is there. Okay, so it is having its own function. Then class fare is there, where it is having its own function. Okay, two independent classes are there, vehicle and fare. Now in class car, I'm inheriting only one class here in public scope, that is vehicle class. So vehicle class is inherited in the car class. Okay, so this is one inheritance, like vehicle is inherited in car. And then second subclass we have created, that is class bus. So in class bus we are inheriting vehicle as well as fare. Okay, because this is public transport. So here this is this fare, this bus is a type of vehicle. So we are inheriting this base class vehicle here. Okay, as well as fare is applicable here to bus class, which is not there for car. Okay, so here we are inheriting from two different. So this is mix of different types of inheritance. Okay, so this is the example of hybrid inheritance. So then the next type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance we'll discuss in the next session. So thank you so much for attending this class.